Are they working in conjunction with the government? Like, how does all that get controlled?
Well, right now it's a free-for-all. It's a horse race. It's a free-for-all. The horses are out of the gate. Basically, it's a few key players. The CIA, of course, is well aware of the potential. The government has done seminars on what to do when quantum computers become commonplace. Quantum supremacy. Now, what is that? Quantum supremacy is a time when quantum computers exceeded the power of a supercomputer on certain very specified problems. We've passed that point. We now have quantum computers that are millions of times faster than a digital computer on certain select questions. The next step is to make a general purpose quantum computer that works for any problem, not just specific problems. And that may take maybe another decade or so. But again, the stakes are enormous. We're talking about the world economy. Which nation is going to dominate the world economy? What technologies will thrust the world's productive abilities? That's quantum computers.
Now, when this does get implemented, what private companies are creating this? And are they working in conjunction with the government? Like, how does all that get controlled?
Well, right now it's a free-for-all. It's a horse race. It's a free-for-all. The horses are out of the gate. Basically, it's a few key players, IBM, Google, Honeywell, Microsoft, the big boys. They're all jumping in the game, investing billions of dollars to create their version of the future. And the Chinese are right there with their parallel version using optical means rather than using electrical means to do calculations. And they know the price is not there yet because, of course, they're not operational for general purpose problems. But they know potentially what the price is, and that's to be able to dominate the world economy.
Now, what's the worst case scenario if one of these American corporations, let's just say Microsoft, let's say if Microsoft wins the race and they develop some sort of functional quantum computer that just blows everything else out of the water, they essentially become like a superpower.
That's right. Remember when IBM dominated everything and then Microsoft comes along, a bunch of teenagers come along. Everyone thought, these are a bunch of teenagers. What can they do, right? And then these teenagers took over the world. So we're talking about something on that scale. That's a company that can make a breakthrough to make a workable, general purpose quantum computer. Who wouldn't want to buy one? I mean, you're talking about a runaway bestseller at that point.
Yeah, well, also, the power that's attached to that is so enormous that anyone wielding it has unprecedented power.
Yeah, I mean, remember the PC before Bill Gates and company?
Yeah.
The PC was a toy in museums, basically. I mean, it was something that you showed your friends, but you couldn't do anything with it, right? And then comes Microsoft, we showed you, no, we can do things. You can do your income tax, you can do spreadsheets, you can do this, and then it just took off.
Yeah.
So we're at that stage now where the computer is still not ready to be used for general purpose calculations. But when it does happen, we're talking about virtual chemistry, virtual biology. Everyone's going to want to jump in the game.
Do you think that preemptively some laws should be put in place to sort of regulate this?
Well, I think some laws may have to because, of course, this is potentially earth-shaking.
Yeah.
The CIA, of course, is well aware of the potential. The government has done seminars on what to do when quantum computers become commonplace, and they're already making recommendations. So for the post-quantum era, they're making recommendations to how to prepare for the post-quantum era when quantum computers can break any known digital code.
What does the world look like if there's no secrets? What does the world look like if there's no top secret information, there's no code cannot be cracked instantaneously?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, some people say, what happens if all the codes are broken? I mean, sometimes it's happened in the past. We're still here. It wasn't doomsday. But it does affect the progress for war. During World War II, we broke the German code. It was a computer that broke the German code, and we knew exactly what the Germans were going to do before war actually broke out in certain areas, and that saved thousands of lives. And so that was a situation where that did make a difference. But in the main, nations steal secrets from other nations all the time.
Yeah.
And we're still here.
For now.
Mm-hmm.
For now.
Right.
If we don't blow ourselves up.
But it could be commonplace. With quantum computers, stealing from nations could be commonplace. Now, there are ways to thwart a quantum computer. There are ways to get around it. One way is to have a dual system, two systems of the internet. One system based on electricity that all of us use that are subject to hacking, and the other layer based strictly on laser beams, a laser internet. That would be a way such that anyone who taps into it illegally would immediately alert people. People would shut down that part of the internet immediately. So that's a possibility that people have talked about, a dual internet, one internet for governments, for big corporations and banks. They would pay premium price to have an invulnerable internet. An internet by the laws of physics can never be broken. And everybody else would use the ordinary internet.
Wouldn't that bother you, though? Like, I don't want corporations to have unlimited computational power.
They're paying for it.
Well,
I mean, what can I say, right?
Right. But the power that comes along with something like that, too, like when you said the laws, like, well, who's writing these laws and who these laws benefit?
Well, laws will have to be passed, just like with chatbots.
Right.
Laws are going to have to be passed, just like freedom of speech is great, but you cannot say fire in a crowded theater.
Right.
So laws will have to be passed to regulate chatbots, and laws may have to be passed to regulate quantum computers as well.
Does it bother you that these laws that will have to get passed will get passed by people that probably don't even have a comprehensive understanding of what's possible?
Yeah, that's possible. That's always the nightmare. The fact that ultimately politicians will have to carry out people's will.
Right. It's not going to be guys like you passing these laws.
No, it'll be people that have to, get votes to get reelected.
Yes.
And God knows what kinds of issues they have to harp on in order to get reelected, right? So that's a danger, that the politicians may mess things up.
Well, I can only hope they bring in you to have a conversation with them about it before they do something stupid.
Well, let's hope the scientific community has a say. We want to see it at the table. We're not going to make the decisions, but we'd like to influence the decisions.
Well, that would be the best way to do it. But do you think that even the scientists or the physicists can have a real understanding of what is to come? It's just educated guessing, right?
It's hard to say. When the transistor was invented, people thought maybe it would be used to signal ships at sea.
Yeah.
They didn't know what the transistor was used for. Now we realize it changed society. Human society changed because of the transistor. But we didn't know it at that time.
Well, listen, again, it's always a pleasure to have you here. You're a national treasure. I really believe that. And
thank you.
You're such a great communicator with this stuff, and it's so exciting. And I'm going to listen to this back and forth and try to figure out most of the stuff you said. Quantum Supremacy, how the quantum computer revolution will change everything.